What's up, guys? Mark back here with another quick video. So now that the dust has settled with the Sony A6500, there are a couple of things that I thought I might want to touch on and kind of get your all's feedback on. So there are a few details in general that I think lend itself to this being both a good thing and a bad thing. The good things are the fact that when we piss and when we moan and when we complain that we want certain things, I do believe that Sony is listening. And I do believe that they listen more so than the other companies out there. That should, in theory, I mean, you would think that this would probably happen a while back ago, but in theory, this should light a fire under other companies' rear ends and get them motivated to start doing similar things. Unfortunately, up to this point, it doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, you know, there are a few other manufacturers out there that have tried to implement certain types of features or whatever, but they're half-assed attempts. It's kind of already old news when they do release it. And I just don't think that it's anything earth-shattering. But Sony, as a rule of thumb, seems to be more of a technology-focused company, and they are focusing that technology into their camera lines, which I'm a tech guy. I like my stuff to be very technical. I want there to be, you know, a long list of specs on that particular camera that even if I never use them, I want I at least want the option there. And once you've been doing a certain thing for long enough, whether it be photography or videography, you get a sense of what you're going to be into doing, right? And when you get into certain things and you're comfortable with them and you're acclimated to the environment and the gear and stuff, you get a sense of what you feel, what you particularly feel is missing or what's not working and stuff like that. And those are the things that you, as a consumer, as a professional, those are the things you start asking for. And it's really nice that us YouTubers have this type of platform where we can voice an opinion, get feedback directly from our audiences, people that are out there with boots on the ground, out in the field, using a manufacturer's product every single day. And the manufacturers can come and literally read the comments if they want and gauge exactly what the public is interested in as far as their gear is concerned. I think that immediate response is just amazing. So, I digress. What makes this thing a good thing and a bad thing? The A6500 is apparently not its successor. It's being billed as a completely different line. So like you've got the A6000, the A6300, and now the A6500. So those are three separate types of cameras. You've got low end, middle, and flagship, right? And I guess I can see that. I've always wanted the flagship though. I've always wanted the best that the company has to offer without making any compromises. See, Nikon was always a bit different than that. When I used to shoot Nikon, there would be some really great quote-unquote consumer-grade features in those bottom-line cameras that were not included in some of the higher-end models, which didn't make any sense. Like, why should the consumers get features that the pros can't have? But some people considered those types of features, well, pros don't really use them, pros don't really want them. But they act like that the pros don't have like personal lives when they're not shooting for clients. They act like they don't have families or family functions to go to or kids recitals to go film or photograph. So sometimes having those lesser desired by the pros features, just having it inside the camera and having it as an option, I can't ever see that being a bad thing. But that might just be me. Again, I've always kind of wanted to have the flagship because I'm always in my mind, I'm always thinking, okay, well, I don't want to not have the option. I like options. I'm not a gear whore. I like options. So if you give me more when I spend more, then I'm going to be a happy camper. That's just pretty much the way I work. The touchscreen is a bit of a letdown. Now, the good part is the fact that it does now include a touchscreen, so I wanted that. But it is so ridiculously crippled. You can in photographic mode change the autofocus point, but it is severely crippled in video mode to the point where I'm thinking that if it's not that much better than what, you know, I've already got, it's way over there, then I don't think that I'm really going to be all that enthused about upgrading. And that's unfortunate. But there are a couple of things that do make me want to upgrade. The burst and the buffer is a huge thing on this camera because it rivals some extremely high-level professional cameras. I mean, we're talking about huge buffers here. Huge lengths of time that you can just hold that shutter down and the buffer does not fill up. Steve Huff has a video where he got to preview the camera and the guy that he's with is just laying on the button. He's laying on it and it's just bam, 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 for like 20 seconds and it doesn't fill up. In RAW, it only takes about 10 seconds, but dude, 10 seconds in RAW. That just kind of goes to show you the way technology is moving. You can sit there and bash some of these quote-unquote consumer-grade cameras, but I'm telling you, the tech that Sony is pumping into their camera line is cutting edge, is bleeding edge, actually. The other thing that I think that both makes this worth it and not is the fact that it does have in-body image stabilization. So, why I think it makes it worth it is because that helps alleviate a lot of the problems that most people encounter with optical image stabilization. So when the OSS is actually in the lens, it's not as efficient as OSS inside of the body. In-body image stabilization is always better because the sensor actually has more room to move both up and down, left and right, front and backward. And with a lens, you just can't do that as effectively. I mean, that's an amazing feature. That's a quote-unquote pro-level feature that was in their A7 line just a year ago, and now it has trickled down, and it's now in their A6000-ish line of cameras, which, again, is a great thing. The problem with the optical or the in-body image stabilization is I genuinely believe that the extra $400 of the in-body image stabilization almost completely goes towards that. I mean, you know, you can say that there is, you know, a thing to be said about like the, what is it, the ILS or the LIS or whatever it's called, that's taking, you know, processing power away from the Bion's X to kind of relieve it and all that kind of stuff. But I genuinely believe that the extra $400 is probably going to the in-body image stabilization. Do I think this is a camera you should buy? I don't know. I mean, that has to be something that you have to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself, what do I do? What am I trying to accomplish with my gear? I think the A6300 is an amazing camera. I have from the first day that I got it because the 4K imaging was amazing. The backside illuminated sensor was amazing. The low light performance was amazing. But it does have its problems, just like every single camera out there does. But it's not any less useful now that the A6500 is out. I don't necessarily think that it's an upgrade anymore, or a successor to the A6300. Whereas I saw the A6300 more of a successor to the A6000. But now that Sony has kind of, I don't know, revealed its vision to us, now I can see that they're basically creating a tier system, at least in my eyes. So you've got the A6000, the A6300, the A6500, and those are different tiers. All of which, the A6000 is still an amazing camera, but it lacks features that I am now used to in the A6300. And the A6500 will probably have quite a few things that I personally am going to want. Because I don't just do video, I also do photography. I don't just do photography, I also do video. So I want the most options possible because I need a range of tools at my disposal to get my job done. So I hope this kind of helps clear things up about what the A6500 is and what it is not. Don't look at it as an upgrade or a successor to the A6300. Look at it as a side grade. And do I think that $400 for in-body image stabilization, a larger buffer, and the whole Bion's X relief system that they've kind of implemented? Yes. Yes, I do. I mean, you know, you can piss away $400 easily just eating out once a day for lunch. I think that you could easily add that to the bag and not lose any value from what's already in your bag. But it's definitely something that I'm going to be looking forward to picking up in November when it is released. So I hope this video helped you out a little bit, guys, and if it did, go ahead and give yourself a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, and also leave a comment down below. I'd like to keep this discussion going if at all possible, and don't forget, I will have links to all of the products that I've discussed in this video down in the description box below, so if you would, please support the channel by clicking on those links. Anyway, guys, thanks again for stopping here at the Photo Video Show. I'm your host, Mark Puckett, and I'll see you guys again on the next one. Peace.